welcome back. It's now 7 minutes away from 7 o'clock, and as promised before the break, we're sitting down to talk about investment interest for Mexico in Belize. And joining us for this conversation, we have Francisco Torreno, financial advisor, and we also have Mexican entrepreneur Don Luis Carlos Ursua. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Now, let's just start off our conversation by talking about how Belize came on your radar, first of all, in terms of investments.
Yes, of course. Nos pregunta cómo es que Belice llegó a nuestro foco de interés de inversión.
Bueno, somos vecinos. Geográficamente somos vecinos.
We are neighbors geographically.
Estamos muy cercanos, compartimos una parte del Caribe.
We are so close, sharing a Caribbean area and region.
Y además, como mexicanos y empresarios, en esta parte me toca a mí representar un grupo de empresarios que se han dedicado al turismo en nuestro país, en México. Aunque somos originarios del norte del país, represento a un grupo de empresarios tanto de Nuevo León como de Estado, Ciudad de México, etcétera, que hemos participado en la industria turística en México, allá, en la Riviera Maya específicamente y en Cabo San Lucas.
As Mexicans, but specifically representing a group of entrepreneurs from the northern area of Mexico, the Monterrey area. It's a group that has been involved in tourism for several years now. And it is a pioneer group that developed part of Cancun and part of Los Cabos. So the group has been representing touristic interest for several decades now.
Now, is tourism the major thrust of what the group is interested in?
Not necessarily, William. Tourism was the excuse to really start looking for other investment opportunities. Everything started with a wild idea, looking for a nice spot. And because you come across with friends, we have friends in Belize, and talking here and there, we discovered that there was an opportunity to explore another area of tourism. Luis Carlos will comment on what is his idea of touristic development. But talking about friends, meeting here and there, we discovered an array of business opportunities. Maybe it's going to be something interesting to explore ideas in industrial facilities. Maybe it's going to be also interesting to talk about educational projects. Maybe we also are going to explore healthcare and medicine projects. And it's kind of an array of things. We have also been contacted by other groups of Mexican investors that when they know that we are learning ourselves about Belize, because we can discuss about that, how is it that we have to learn about Belize, because although we are neighbors, we have to sit down and look what is happening here. And for example, we had some interest from Mexican Airlines to develop certain routes in the Mayan area and other infrastructure projects. But just let me ask Luis Carlos what's also his plan. Nos pregunta que aparte de turismo, si tenemos algún otro tipo de interés en otras áreas de oportunidad.
Pues mira, realmente la industria turística, cuando tú desarrollas un polo turístico, tienes que pensar integralmente, no puedes pensar solamente en construir hoteles y traer turistas.
When you think about a touristic project, you have to think integral part. It's an integral development, not only bringing tourists.
Tienes que pensar en que a esa industria, a ese turista, para trabajar en ese hotel vas a requerir de gente, y esa gente a su vez va a requerir de vivienda, va a requerir educación, salud, esparcimiento, deporte, cultura.
You will require people to work in your resort, and the people that will work on your resort will require things, will require housing, will require education, will require sports, will require entertainment and cultural development.
Son una serie de factores que conllevan a la creación de lo que llamamos poblaciones de apoyo o pequeños pueblos de apoyo, y eso genera o obliga a crear una infraestructura de servicio para esa población. Independientemente de generar riqueza de generar ingresos, generas empleo, pero tienes que abastecer con insumos hasta en la parte alimenticia para esa población. Entonces, yo creo que cuando hablas de turismo, hablas de desarrollo integral de una comunidad, de un país o de un estado.
Modern tourism requires also the creation of supporting villages, supporting towns. It is not a matter of providing employment to persons and then that's it. It is an idea of really developing a village that supports the resort and with a vision of integral development, because it is not enough to create richness for the investors, but also you have to create richness and welfare for the people that is operating and supporting the resort.
Y además es muy importante no solamente la parte de la generación de riqueza y de la población de apoyo y la infraestructura, también es muy importante el entorno ecológico, o sea, a dónde vamos a enfocar el esfuerzo y qué es lo que queremos hacer con lo que nos genera riqueza. En este caso, la riqueza de Belice está dada por su naturaleza, por su situación geográfica.
So, in addition to the investment, it also is the support of the environment with an ecological view. In this case, the interest in Belize, it is its ecological integrity and its beauty. So the resort has to comply with the supporting and the enhancing of ecological culture and preserving the beauty of the region.
Tenemos que buscar algo que nos genere riqueza, ingreso, pero sustentado en un proyecto amigable con la naturaleza y con el medio ambiente. Es importantísimo porque en las experiencias en otros países y las que hemos vivido inclusive en México, nos hemos dado cuenta que a veces empezamos al revés. ¿Sí? Empezamos haciendo un hotel cuando no tenemos quien lo atienda, nos falta la gente. Y luego tienes la gente que te atienda, que va a arreglar el cuarto, que va a pintar, que va a construir, pero no tienes agua potable y no tienes vivienda. Y al no tener una infraestructura sanitaria, perjudicas y dañas al medio ambiente, los mantos acuíferos, y eso va generando un problema que va provocando, a final de cuentas, un deterioro del medio ambiente, que a final de cuentas lo que vamos a venderle al extranjero es la belleza natural de este paraíso que se llama Belice.
From his previous experiences, he has the idea that the first thing that you have to care for is environmental care. The Mexican experience in some cases was completely the other side. First you have the hotel resort, and then you got the people, but there was a lack of housing, there was a lack of sewage system, a lack of water, and what you created is an environmental disaster, because the wastewater went into the grounds and it just wasted the ground. So the vision is to start completely different, invest in infrastructure, invest in the people, develop the integral concept.
Now, there's a lot of due diligence that is done before most foreign investors will make a decision to move into a new country and make an investment. You have had several meetings arranged on this particular visit. What's some of the information that you're looking for to be able to decide whether or not it's a right fit for you to come and invest in Belize?
Well, Marlene, yes, of course, it's a tight schedule. I hope this is the first trip of many. As I told you, it is not my first visit to Belize, but it is the first visit with a group of entrepreneurs. The meetings have included an array of persons in the governmental sector, in the entrepreneur sector, in persons owning real estate. So yes, of course, the due diligence first is to have a physical view, a visit of your country, because as I told you, it's Mr. Luis Carlos' first visit to your country, and he will tell you that he's delighted with the hospitality and the beauty of the country. Yes, the first thing we're looking for is the real estate. But of course, it's the view of the real estate with utilities, for example, how far away you have the utilities, what is the population near those spots, what is the current and existing infrastructure. We have had some conferences with persons involved in the free trade zone near the airport. We see also investment opportunities in the free trade zone. We also in preparation to this trip, we learned about your country, about the communications that we have to Mexico, and we see areas of opportunity there. So we know that, for example, a direct flight from Monterrey, for example, direct flight to Belize airport would be a fostering of people arriving into Belize. We also know that at the very same moment you need to build hotel infrastructure, not necessarily the touristic infrastructure, but the hotel for the staff, the business type of hotel near the airport perhaps. You also need to provide some kind of a educational proposal. For that purpose, we also had some conferences and meetings with people in universities in Mexico and trying to explore how can we accommodate Mexican educational proposals to Belize, because we have the language barrier, but I think it's something that we can work out. I mean, it's a 21st century and something can be achieved. So yes, we're doing due diligence, we're meeting with persons, and we have no rush. The country is here, the country is beautiful, and we will take the time to do the investment as it is.
Looking specifically at the tourism product that Belize offers versus, and since you've been, the group has been so instrumental in the development in Cancun, they're very distinct. Belize has had many challenges previously in terms of specific developments within tourism, because it doesn't necessarily fit with the sustainable development that we're trying to achieve. Let's talk about what your perceptions are, since it's your first visit, Don Luis, in possibilities for investment in tourism, specifically understanding the environment and sustainable development focus that we maintain.
Exacto. Don Luis Carlos, la pregunta que hace Marlene es, en esta pequeña impresión que ha tenido del país y que ha visto cuál es la dinámica que existe en esta región y otras ofertas turísticas a nivel mundial, ¿cuál siente usted que sea la propuesta que más se acomode a la dinámica cultural, geográfica, regional y de percepción de la región, ya que ha habido otros intentos en el pasado que no necesariamente se acomodan a lo que es una propuesta adecuada para el mercado que puede desarrollarse en Belice?
Bueno, definitivamente Belice, geográficamente hablando, estamos en pleno Caribe. Estamos en pleno Caribe. A la península de Yucatán le toca geográficamente estar una parte del Caribe y otra parte del Golfo de México. Aquí estamos en pleno Caribe y estamos, creemos que que Belice puede ser el detonante, ¿sí?, para tanto atraer el turismo que ya llega a las islas que están frente al Caribe, como a nosotros como vecinos en México y el vecino de Centroamérica y al turismo de Centroamérica. Creo que las condiciones geográficas están dadas. ¿Sí?
The first would be geographically located in the Caribbean. Mexican peninsula of Yucatan, it's both with a devotion for the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, but Belize, of course, is devoted to the Caribbean. So it is a perfect point to deploy things and look into Caribbean region.
Además, por la experiencia que tenemos en México, de la Riviera Maya, que Cancún se detona aproximadamente hace 40 años, y me tocó vivir a mí el desarrollo explosivo de Cancún, que en menos de 10 años la población se multiplicó, no sé, de 30 a 40 mil habitantes a casi 600, 700 mil, y empezó la Riviera Maya, ya estaba hablando nada más de Cancún. Con esa experiencia, ese antecedente, si tenemos una tierra con las características de la península, de parte de la península que está pegada al Caribe, y en la tendencia del mundo de volver hacia sus básicos, la gente vuelve a sus orígenes, o sea, queremos nuevamente convivir con la naturaleza, y en Belice es tierra virgen, es una tierra hermosa, es un mar precioso, no está contaminado, hay turismo de aventura, podemos generar turismo de aventura, turismo ecológico, hay muchísimas áreas de oportunidad, y hay un mercado que no nada más es el norteamericano y el canadiense, que es muy buen mercado, pero está enfocado más a otro tipo de diversión. Hay un turismo que busca un poco más de cultura, tus costumbres gastronómicas, no sé, las ruinas mayas, y explorar en el mar, los arrecifes, el coral, etcétera. Es por este lado, es la parte de atracción, vaya, que tenemos que mercadear.
Having this previous experience in Cancun for the last 40 years, and he was present when Cancun was a small village, and he could experience personally the explosion of Cancun from few thousand persons to almost 1 million persons. He can say that today the request of the touristic market, the international traveler, it is not necessarily what it used to be in past years. Perhaps the American, the Canadian market are looking for a different type of entertainment or of touristic experience, but there is also another market. There is a market that is looking for the adventure, it's looking for the knowing the local culture, knowing local gastronomic proposals, having a true experience, and Belize is perfectly and ideally located to provide that experience, since the region it's virgin, the region it's clean, and the cultural proposal is just magnificent.
Hay otro tema muy importante en cuanto a el por qué Belice. En México nos hemos enfocado muchísimo al mercado norteamericano y canadiense, y sí vemos Europa, pero ese es nuestro mercado natural, o al menos no hemos buscado otras áreas de oportunidad, y nos hemos olvidado del sur, lo que es Centroamérica, Caribe, Centroamérica y Sudamérica. Y también es muy importante la parte de gobierno de federal. ¿Hacia dónde quieren ir en Belice? Ayer platicábamos con el canciller que queremos hacer un proyecto de la mano con el gobierno. ¿Hacia dónde quieren ir? Las facilidades que este país nos puede dar a inversionistas extranjeros, comparadas con otros países en el mismo México, es un área de oportunidad muy interesante. Y por otro lado, que tenemos un mercado que poca gente vislumbra o poca gente le llama la atención, que es el mercado de nuestros vecinos del Caribe, centroamericanos y sudamericanos, sin dejar de ver la gran importancia del turismo europeo, el alemán, el francés, el español, el italiano, el portugués, que es el turismo que está llegando al Caribe y a las Antillas. Yo creo que ese es el gran mercado, el mercado que viene a dejar su dinero, que viene a buscar una experiencia, que sí lee y que sí conoce a veces inclusive más de nuestra historia que nosotros mismos.
Yes, the experience in Mexico perhaps it's more understood in serving the American, the Canadian market, perhaps a little bit of European market, but for decades we have just not looked south, and the Caribbean proposal, Central American proposal, South American proposal is there to be developed. What we think is that there is a specific market, perhaps certain nationalities of European countries that are more intelligent travelers. Maybe they read before they travel, maybe they understand, even sometimes they even have a better understanding of our country, in the case of Mexico, than we do about what happens in the Riviera Maya. So the same effect we feel it's going to happen in the rest of the Caribbean and Central America.
One of the conversations that has been an ongoing one has been the idea that you'd have multiple tourists, especially when you're talking about Europeans, for example, doing multiple destinations. Is that a part of looking at, I think we've...
Regional projects.
Regional
tourism.
Perhaps stopping in Mexico, enjoying it there, and then moving on to Belize and perhaps other parts of Central
Well, William,
America.
that fits perfectly what we have discussed with these airlines, of what they have experienced that is happening. That's right. The European tourist, it's for long stays. Actually, it's part of funny because it also has an effect on the type of aircraft that you're going to handle, because the European traveler has a bigger luggage traveling with him, because it is not only spending time in the resort. They arrive to a certain part and try to have a tour and spend days knowing around. And yes, the idea is to have Belize as a focal point to receive this kind of tourist and provide them this offer so that they can have these multiple destinations, because we understand that it is not a single point of destination. They arrive to a specific region and they tour around 1 week knowing and having this experience.
So what is the next step after this preliminary visit for Don Luis?
¿Cuál sería, después de esta visita preliminar, el siguiente paso que se tiene programado?
El siguiente paso es recorrer el país, conocerlo. Tenemos que conocer para poder desarrollar para poder sacar adelante un desarrollo, tienes que conocer la tierra donde vas a trabajar. Hay que conocerla, su idiosincrasia, hacer estudios de mercado y sobre todo la factibilidad en cuanto a los lugares donde podamos empezar a desarrollar, no los grandes hoteles de 300, 400 habitaciones, pequeños lugares donde se hospede la gente que venga al turismo aventura, y ir de la mano, muy de la mano con la normatividad que el gobierno nos exija. Tratamos de estar muy cuidadosos de las leyes y explorando todas las áreas. Hoy vamos a hacer algunos recorridos para ver específicamente ya algunas zonas que tienen que tener ciertas características cercanas a los aeropuertos, que haya carreteras, vaya vías de comunicación e ir creciendo poco a poco de la mano, porque a lo mejor no está el gran aeropuerto, pero si generamos un desarrollo turístico tendríamos que ir de la mano con la generación de una vía, ya sea marítima o aérea, para poder atraer al turismo hacia ese polo de desarrollo.
The first step is to know the country, to physically be present and know the land, because on his experience is the only way that you can really get a feeling if something can be achieved. The feasibility is being present and have this experience of what can be achieved. Of course, we are traveling, we are having an extensive travel during these days, and to see the local infrastructure, how close are we to roads, to airstrips. Perhaps the airstrip is not necessarily the one that we would require, but the idea is to go and grow in a sustainable manner and in an orderly manner, so that whatever will be required, you start. And he just mentioned in his last intervention that he is very pleased because yesterday we were received by your Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he was very amicable to us on the project. And one of the things that Don Luis Carlos expressed to your minister is that the first thing is that we need to comply with your laws, understand your legal system, what are the rules, regulations that need to be complied with, and also to see what you as a country are looking for, to really understand what is your prospect of development and try to fit our ideas into your own ideas of development.
So, let's add the opportunity to sample Belizean cuisine.
¿Cuál tipo de comida beliceño?
Not yet. Si ya probaste comida beliceña. Today is going to be the Belizean cuisine. Yesterday we were traveling all day and we barely had a sandwich.
Quiero, como comentario aparte, yo soy de comer muy típico en México, y la comida de Belice es muy parecida a la del sur de México. Entonces la comida entre más de casa, más sabrosa, más rica y más nutritiva.
Yes. He is really fond of typical Mexican Southern cuisine, and he feels that Mexican Southern cuisine has similarities to part of our cuisine, and he personally really likes a home flavor in the cuisine. So today is going to be the day, because yesterday, believe me, we barely had a drink of water and a sandwich.
Me he enterado que produce mucho maíz, y eso sería excelente porque yo sin tortilla no puedo comer.
He knows that you produce corn, and without tortilla and chile he cannot survive.
Ayer, en el hotel había una planta de chile y empecé a quitar los frutos para comer anoche.
Yesterday at the hotel there was a chili plant and he started just harvesting the plant.
Yes. Quería hacer un comentario adicional. La intención de nosotros como ahora sí que como exploradores en este país, que no tenía el gusto de conocer, el cual estoy muy sorprendido por lo que he visto. Va la invitación para los empresarios de este país, gente que quiera participar en el proyecto, porque no solamente es venir y que no se piense vamos a conquistar, no vamos a conquistar nada. Queremos participar en el desarrollo del país y queremos invitar a toda aquella persona que se quiera sumar. Inclusive ayer platicábamos con el ministro, con el canciller y con el ministro Contreras, el hecho de invitarlos a un grupo de empresarios a los que se quieran sumar, a conocer Nuevo León, Monterrey, y a hacerles reuniones con el gobierno del estado, con el Congreso, con los empresarios, con las cámaras, con los organismos intermedios, con las empresas que se dedican al turismo o gente que quiera invertir fuera de México, ¿verdad? O sea, ahí está la invitación. Queremos ser propositivos, muy cuidadosos de la parte normativa del gobierno, del país, y no cometer los errores del pasado. Creo que no tiene caso hacer grandes consorcios turísticos. Vamos a ir poco a poco generando una actividad que vaya siendo sustentable y que vaya de la mano del desarrollo social, porque ayer lo comentaba, la generación de riqueza no será un círculo virtuoso si no hay desarrollo social, si no hay infraestructura y si no hay educación y cultura y salud. Es importantísimo.
As a final statement, he wants to share. It's not that the idea that it's a Mexican entrepreneur conquering a specific activity in your country. Yesterday, with meetings with certain persons and certain ministers, and Mr. Don Luis Carlos expressed the idea that it is an open invitation to local entrepreneurs to start adding to the project. He even offered that if it is possible, he's offering an invitation for Belizean entrepreneurs, Belizean persons in the government to visit Monterrey and to know Monterrey, to know people in Monterrey, so you can start building relationships and really develop what it's going to be the most logical kind of development. It is not the idea of the great consortium of 500 rooms or something. The idea is to grow as the market requires. And by the way, I can tell you, I am from Mexico City myself, but knowing Monterrey has certain similarities to you. Monterrey was an isolated area of Mexico. So the spirit of Monterrey, you can find it as well here. It's this entrepreneurial spirit that need the people to survive in a specific area. So the invitation is there for your entrepreneurs, for people who want to accommodate into the project, and we all welcome to Monterrey and to have an experience of what's happening there.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Marlene.
And enjoy the rest of your trip.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to representatives of the Mental Health Association and a visiting therapist who is working on trauma recovery for children and communities to survive violence. So stay tuned.